Luzze Andrew Anderson is my name. Of course, I said good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night for some of the people who are going to be sleeping. So as long as you're watching through, I want to say thank you very much for watching through. My name is Luzze Andrew Anderson. And of course, in case it's your first time to be watching through, you can go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification button that each time I put up a video, at least you're among the first people to be watching. And this time around, of course, you can see the title there. My son saved me would be dead, yeah, would be dead. In case it wasn't my son, I would have been dead and long gone. But because of my son, then guess what, I'm still here. Most of the people say that they raise kids, yeah. You say I raise these kids, but sometimes vis-a-vis, these kids can go ahead and raise us. They can go ahead and raise us. I remember the first time when I saw, I archived almost everything with my son. I archived everything from when he was born, from when he's been growing up. I have all the videos, yeah, on my laptop, because every moment is, each time I look at him, it feels like just yesterday. What is it? What? You want to go to bed? Okay. You put little. You put little. So most of the people say that they raise kids, but they forget that these kids sometimes raise us. Me, when by the time I had my son, because right now he's going to be making 4, I was a party boy. I could party hard. Like, I could party hard. I could drink a little bit more. Like sometimes I could just go and black out. So when he came, of course, I was still doing the same things. Even when he was born, the day he was born, I was still doing the same things. But sometimes, staying with him, and now like it is the two of us, just the two of us. From when I decided to stay with him, I noticed that, you start becoming a little bit responsible. Instead of you raising a son, basically he's raising you. Most of the people say that, I want to teach my son, my daughter, this and that. But guess what? Me, when it comes to my son, I would say he's the one teaching me things. I'm growing and I'm learning from him. I've learned, taking care of my life. Then I wouldn't care. By this time, I would be, a little bit drunk. I'll be taking a lot of substances, and I don't care what life really brings out, because at the end of the day, I had nothing to lose. But after having my kid, after having my son, then I started having value of life, yeah, value of life. Like, most of the time when my boys could call me up and they're like, Anderson, let's go party, the next day or the next minute, I'm up for a party. But right now, friends could call me. I've spent, as I told you, I've spent like a year indoors, yeah, with my son. And in case someone calls me up and like, there's a party here, let's go for a drink up, I cannot go, which wasn't then you just make a phone call and I'm like, where the party at, yeah. So now you think like, you stay the two of us. Like me, I stay with my son. So I think sometimes, like, you imagine, I get drunk, and I black out, and maybe we have gas in the house, and then something happens, and I'm blacked out. Then what would happen? So instead of this thing that all these people say that we teach our kids, fine, I would like to teach him stuff. I would want him to be basically like me, like I want to share my knowledge with him. But now instead, basically we are teaching each other something, given the fact that he's only 3 and making 4. But of course, I'm learning a lot. What is it? You come help you, you bring, I help you. You bring. So at the end of the day, I want him to just basically be like me. Basically, the things that I do, this is his laptop, so he has messed it up, so I'm trying to help him up here. So at the end of the day, I want him to be like me, like the things I do, I would like him to be doing at least a little bit, just be a little bit like me. But remember, if you're a bad dad, you wouldn't like your son to be like you. I've always told people, like when you're going to get married, like, would you marry you? Would you marry you? Yeah? Would you marry you? You could sit there and you're like, would I marry me? And some people would be like, I can't marry me because of the habits or the behaviors that they're having. But now me, ever since I started staying with my kid, lots of things have changed with me. I have a friend of mine, he's called Charlie. He's I think he's in the US. He called me and he called me because he thought I had disappeared. I wasn't on social media, I wasn't anywhere. So he thought That maybe because most of the people who know me, they thought they knew that I used to drink a lot. Yeah, I was out there, I was an alcoholic. So most of the people, when he called me, he was like, "Hey man, you had disappeared. I thought alcoholism and substances had taken over you. I'm so glad that you're looking fresh. What's up?" And I'm like, it was intentional to disappear. But most of the guys, the reason why you even miss out on some of the things when you get your kids, yeah, you want to leave them with their grandparents or with their parents, and then you try to drive your life, and then you forget that when you're with these kids, there is the kind of responsibility they bring in you. Yeah, there are things you learn from them, that you'll be there, and then instead of going and vibing one girl to another, you vibe this one, you vibe the other one. You look at your son and then you're like, I wouldn't want, even if it's your daughter, if you go around sleeping with different girls, you would at the moment, pose up and you're like, what if it were my daughter and, they were doing these same things to them? Would it be fine? So, but you cannot get that experience if you're not staying with your kids. But when you stay with your kids, those are the experiences you get. So at the end of the day, you grow up when they are teaching you something, you learn something from them as you teach them something. But most of the times, even when we grow up, we still learn. So me, if it weren't my son, I don't know where I would have been right now. Because when these kids come, more so when you stay with your kids, yeah, when you stay with your kids, that's why I advise, let me tell you, statistics were done and people noticed that people who have kids tend to be more developmental than they tend to be more developmental than the people who don't have kids, because there's a pressure that comes with kids. As human beings, we are born to be survivors. Yeah, we are survivors. We try to struggle through life to survive. So when there is someone you're fighting for, someone you're striving for, someone you want to make their lives better, you work a little harder, more than the other person who doesn't care. And did you notice that when you have kids, somehow God provides? When you are alone, you can go minus meals, but when you have kids, when you have a wife, there is a way that God provides for you, because He knows you're not alone. So there is a way. There basically there is a way the universe blesses you. So me, one of the tactics, and whenever I tell my friends that me, I stay with my son, they're a little bit concerned and they're like, how could you be a single dad? And I'm like, I make my introduction in, I'm a single dad, I stay with my son, and I'm not into a relationship. I don't want to get into any relationship, and not even in time soon that I would love to, because there are lots. Because now me, there are times when I be with my son and we chat like two mature people. He's like, I want this, and I'm like, no, we bargain over it, and I'm like, I think things should be done this way. Why? But you're pressing everyone. Now why did you put it this way? You're pressing everywhere. You want to go to sleep? If you want to go to sleep, you can go to bed and sleep, because now you're just disturbing me. You're disturbing me. I'm working. Your cartoons are there. You leave it there. No, what? You want the voice? No, you're not going to put volume. I told you now I'm working, so we cannot put volume. You first wait, I finish, then you put volume. If you want to put volume, you go to bed and put volume. So at the end of the day, there are times that I learn lots, and I learn things, because most of the people think it is only us, the elders, the parents, who are supposed to teach our kids. But it is very true, because now, like me, I'm telling you the truth. Had I not been with my son, I would be wasted. Because right now, guess what? I can be in the house for a day, for a week, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, no partying, no alcohol, no substances, because I know I'm supposed to take care of an individual. You get the point? So at the end of the day, He keeps me sober. He keeps me in check. Things I wouldn't have done, I do them because of my son. You get the point? So these things of chasing girls around too, because you're like, okay, now I have one kid. So now what if I'm chasing another girl and maybe they are not the right one? Then again, I give birth. I have 3 kids from 3 different parents. Would it really work out? So it brings some sense into you as a parent, more so if you stay with them. And this helps mainly, it helps mainly by the both parents. It helps both parents. If you're a couple, it helps a lot because they keep you in check. There are things you wouldn't do because you feel like, you would be ashaming your parent, you'd be ashaming your kids, yeah. And then if you are a single mom or a single dad, they also keep you in check. The lady would have been going for parties or from one man to another one, they keep you in check because now you don't have time. So you have to take care of your kid, but at the same time you have to go sleep with a guy. So at the end of the day you cannot move with your kid. So at the end of the day you're like, you know what, let me just chill, let me just be home. At the end of the day you stay home, chill, be with your son or daughter of your kid or with your kids. So me, I would say my kid has helped me, and I don't regret being with him, and I don't think at any time soon I'll be like I will let him go, because without him, that means now I have enough time. At a time like this, it's 11, it's a Monday. In countries like where I come from, you can party from Monday to Monday. Every day is a party day. But now I don't even remember how clubs look like. I don't know how hangouts look like. Why? Because my son is keeping me in check. So basically he's the one teaching me some of the things that even mature people could not have taught me. I've been at jobs and then they've told me you should decrease a little, you drink a lot. But now no one is telling me nothing, but I'm in check alone because of my son, even when he cannot communicate and tell me those things. So at the end of the day, I think it's important, and it helps both parents, by the way. Either way, it helps both parents. But if you give birth and then you keep your kids with your sisters or your relatives or your brothers or your grandparents, now instead of being in check most of the time, because you're alone, it will force you to do things. If you're broke and you cannot provide for them, then instead of finding a solution, then maybe you're taken up with the drugs and then the alcohol. But now with me, I don't regret. I'm telling you, I don't regret staying with my son, and I feel like I will do it over and over and over and over, because I know he's helped me lots. Because if it weren't him, I'd have either gone mad or got into accident or something. So one thing I'm advising, you can try it. At first it scares a lot, when you're like, I'm going to be with my kids. It scares, because you have to work, you have to provide, but at the end of the day, you cannot leave the kids to be there alone. So it really scares. Long time, dear Luzze, of course, Maria. Bobby, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, I apologize most of the time when people come through who are watching politics, and of course I told you 2026 we did a little bit of a change, and we are not going to be doing politics. So we say now it's going to be much of a lifestyle. We always do a live stream in the morning, during daytime, and then in the evening we come and have simple discussion. But today, since it's also a Monday, Tyler, you want to sleep? You want to just go to bed? So at the end of the day, these kids, man, me, I discovered this a little earlier. Initially it was scary, but I discovered it and I was like, I'm not going to let go of my son, because I'm learning things, I'm learning things that I wouldn't have learned had I not been with him. Right now I would have slept. I've not had like sex. I've not had sex like for should I say like 2.5 years or 2 years. The entire time I've not been chasing girls around. Why? Because I know, and everything now is intentional. I always tell you those things of intentional, that now where I sleep, I make sure I sleep with my son. He's supposed to be sleeping up, I sleep down on a decker. It is intentional. Why? Because I feel if I bring in a girl, that would seem weird, and for now I've not let my son sleep up. For some reason I'm still scared, because I think he can slip off. I've fell off those deckers, those beds they put up. I fell off one when I was a kid. So now I feel like, when he rolls over, I feel like he can fall. So I have not yet felt safe to let him sleep there. So now I sleep with my son in the same bed. So now it is intentional to do that, because now if I'm possessed in any way and a girl comes in my life, when he notices that you share a bed with your son, it will look weird. It will be like, how? How can you, So at the end of the day, things just don't work out. though I've not brought in any, but now that is intentional. Like, even if anything happens, at least that prevents me. So at the end of the day, a 3-year-old, even when he was 1 year old, has told me lots of things, even when I'm mature and I'm the parent. And at the same time, I have the chance to let him grow, and I'm also teaching him stuff that I feel like maybe I missed up when I was a kid. So I want to teach him things. I want him to be like me. There are things, and me, and even more, because now for them, their generation, they have more chances. At 3, he can operate his laptop, so we didn't have that. So at the end of the day, I think if you haven't given it a try to stay with your kids. I'm telling you, they will save you. They will save you a lot, because you imagine, if you love speed, let me say you love speed, yes, you want to sleep, okay, you go to bed. You can go with your laptop if you want. You go to bed. Yeah, he's tired, but most of the time he doesn't want to go on until Allah sleep. So at the end of the day, you can't do what? You can't carry your laptop every day. You carry. If you can't carry, you leave it. Now you go with it. you go. I'm going to come. So at the end of the day, even the loneliness, because you imagine initially, before he had come through, I used to stay alone, and sometimes I would get into depression and anxiety. But when I started staying with him, there are times we talk, and we talk like mature people, So we are like this and this and this, and then we have to discuss issues. Let me come 1 minute. Now what? Let me come this side. Yeah. So, as I was still telling you, at the end of the day, if you love speed, that's where I ended. If you love speed, so if you're driving and you have your kids in the car, you will watch out. Me learning my bike, initially I wasn't that good, but when he came, and now I was supposed to ride with him, it was scary. Trust me, I wasn't perfect. I would say I became perfect there and then, because I could not dare make a mistake. Why? Because I'm riding a big bike with my son, and he's the number one priority. So now that one is like your helmet. So you like it or not, now I had to learn. I had to perfect. I had to perfect. So that's how I learned also my bike. So at the end of the day, these kids, they teach us a lot more. So if we stay with them, we learn a lot. Most of the people, they want to keep away their kids, and they don't know that they are missing out a lot. And I always kept telling some people that, those moments you miss with your kids, you will never duplicate them. You will never get them. You cannot reciprocate them. You can never. So when you have the time, at least I'll be like, I have a full album. I can show you a full album here, from when he was born to now. And I've not missed important moments with him. So, and that's what I keep telling you. Life is all about the memories you build together. Because now you'll go and I'll tell him, when we were circumcising you, this happened. I remember the day when we were given about that. This is what happened when we went to school, in different schools. He went to 3 schools. This is what happened. And then, you have a conversation. He grows and he can ask you anything and you can answer. And now you imagine your kid grows up and they don't even have memories with you. So these are intentional things that I'm doing, and I'm like, I wish everyone could do them. I know we are working so hard to provide. We are working so hard to provide, but those moments, even if you get 1 billion, you will never get them. If you miss your child being given birth to, and you are on a trip making money, even if you pay how much, they cannot bring back that moment. You were not there, it is gone. I made sure I was there even through the antenatals. Every moment, those are the memories I'm going to keep. That is the wealth I'm having. Some of the people don't have that. It might look light when I'm talking about it, like that's the wealth I have. You would achieve, you would build houses, you buy cars, but when you don't have memories, you're not birthdays, you're not friends with your kids, that means nothing. You get? At this time, I would be already high, but now I know there's an individual, whom I'm supposed to look after. So it's very important. As I told you, today is a Monday. We're not going to be here for a long period of time. Of course, we've been here for 20 minutes. Until when we catch up tomorrow, I want to say thank you very much for watching. In case you felt like the video was beautiful, it is very easy. If it's your first time to watch, you can go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification button, so that each time I put up a video, among the first people to be watching. I still remain Luzze Andrew Anderson. And of course, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night for some of you who are going to be going to bed. And just make sure, in case you believe in anything, you can take a prayer. Until then,